Hare Krishna. I welcome everyone to today's session on the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in which we would be taking up the summary study of the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, a very important instruction in the Bhagavad Gita about Bhakti Yoga or devotional service. So before we begin, I shall chant a few prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So I again welcome everyone to today's session, in which we would try to understand the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. The 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is entitled as Bhakti Yoga or devotional service to the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. It contains 20 verses. It is the smallest chapter in the Bhagavad Gita, combinedly with the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which also contains 20 verses. It is a very beautiful chapter, and the shlokas, the verses in this chapter are so beautiful that I would kindly request everyone to learn all the verses of this chapter, the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and if you memorize them and chant them every day, it would be very, very beneficial, spiritually beneficial to all of us. The 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita contains 20 verses and can be divided into 4 parts or 4 sections. Section 1, from text 1 to 5, is the comparison between the personal and the impersonal paths of transcendence or spirituality. Section 2 of the 12th chapter, from text number 6 to 8, is the description of the most exalted, the supermost destination of the pure devotees of Sri Krishna. Section 3, from text 9 to 12, is the explanation of the various stages and options of spiritual progress. And finally, in section 4 of the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, from text number 13 to 20, is the wonderful description of the divine transcendental qualities of the Shuddha Bhaktas, of the pure devotees of Krishna, that endear them to the Supreme Lord Krishna, that make them dear to Lord Krishna. So now let us start again from the beginning, from section 1, from text number 1 to 5, is the comparison between the personal and impersonal parts in spirituality. Actually, throughout the Bhagavad Gita so far, we have heard that the personal form of the Supreme Lord is the supreme absolute truth, and the path to attain the Supreme Lord is the process of bhakti or devotional service. So, right from the second chapter onwards, from 2.47, and later in a third chapter in 3.30, wherein Krishna says, Mai sarvani karmani sanyasyadhyatma chetasa. Later in the fourth chapter, in text number 9, Krishna says, just by understanding his divine spiritual transcendental status, one can become free from the cycle of birth and death. Later in the fifth chapter, 5.29, Krishna says that by understanding three truths about the Supreme Lord, being the supreme friend, the supreme proprietor, and the supreme benefactor of everything, one attains divine transcendental peace. In the sixth chapter, many times over, and finally at the conclusion, 6.47, Krishna establishes that yoginam api sarvesham madghatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamo mataha. Among all the various kinds of yogis, the one who engages in pure devotional service is the highest, is the topmost. In seventh, especially in the middle six chapters, from chapter 7 up to 12, are completely and exclusively devoted to the glorification of bhakti or devotional service to the Lord, beginning from the seventh chapter, which explains the knowledge of the supreme absolute truth as the supreme personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. The eighth chapter explains the path to reach the Supreme Lord, and the ninth chapter explains the process by which one can develop pure love of God. And in the 10th chapter, the extraordinary opulences of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna have been delineated and explained. And in the 11th chapter is the wonderful revelation of the Virat Rupa, the Vishwarupa of the Supreme Lord. But even after showing his most gigantic and extraordinary Vishwarupa, Krishna finally reveals his two-handed Saumya Shyama Sundara Swarupa. And Krishna says that this is the original form of God, of the Supreme Lord, of the Supreme Absolute Truth, which is most rare, and even the Devatas are ever anxious to have a glimpse of this divine form of Krishna. Krishna concludes the 11th chapter by saying that by engaging in pure devotional service, one again shall reach the Supreme Lord. So now, after hearing so much about the supreme position of Lord Sri Krishna and the only exclusive path to reach him to be the path of bhakti or devotional service, at the beginning of the 12th chapter, in 12.1, Arjuna places a very crucial, a very important question to Krishna. Arjuna asks, Arjuna vacha evam satata yukta ye bhaktastvam paryupasate ye chapi aksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha. Now, Arjuna asks this question that evam satata yuktaye bhaktaha tvam paryupasate. One category of spiritualists or transcendentalists are the bhaktaha, the devotees who satata yuktaye, who always engage in the loving devotional service of the personal form of God as Krishna. And the second kind of spiritualists are mentioned in the next part of this verse, that ye chapi aksharam avyaktam. But there are this another category of spiritualists who maintain, who claim, who proclaim that the supreme absolute truth is avyaktam, is unmanifest, is nirakara, without any shape, without any form, without any qualities. It is nirguna, nirvishesha, nirakara, avyakta. Now, Arjuna's question is, Tesham, among these two, Ke Yogavittamaha, who is right, who is correct, and who is the topmost? So now, this is a very, very important question, because in the history of spirituality, there always has been these two divisions or categories of spiritualists who have maintained, the one group maintains that the supreme absolute truth, Parama Satya, is formless, without any qualities, without any attributes, and the other category of spiritualists or transcendentalists maintain that the supreme absolute truth does not have any material qualities or material form, but he has a divine form with infinite and unlimited spiritual divine qualities and attributes. So, among these two, who is right, who is correct, and who is the topmost yogi? We shall find the conclusive answer to this debate, which has led to even a lot of misunderstanding and also a lot of conflict between these two paths, between these two categories of spiritualists and transcendentalists since time immemorial. There are the Brahmavadis and then there are the Bhaktas. So, Bhagavad Gita is now going to give the conclusive answer as to what is the supreme aspect, the ultimate feature of the absolute truth of Paramasatya, and what is the topmost, the highest category of yogis. So, let's hear directly from the words of the Bhagavad Gita in 12.2. It is said, Shri Bhagavanu Vacha. The verdict is given by Shri Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Mayyaveshya Mano Yemam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddhaya Parayopetaha Teme Yuktatamamataha. Very clearly, the Supreme Lord, the Bhagavad Gita, establishes that the topmost yogi and the supreme feature of the absolute truth is not Nirakara, not Nirguna, not Avyakta, but the Sakara, Divya, Swarupa of the Supreme Lord. And the supreme path of yoga is divine, transcendental, devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Mayyaveshya mano yemam nitya yukta upasate shraddhaya parayopetaha. So Krishna here establishes that with their minds completely absorbed in me, Mayyaveshya mano yemam nitya yukta upasate, those who engage constantly in my devotional service with shraddhaya paraya, with great and transcendental shraddha or faith, teme yukta tamamataha, they are the topmost, they are the highest. Whereas ye tu sarvani bhutani, those, on the other hand, who worship ye chapi aksharam ye tvaksharam anigdeshyam ye tu aksharam anigdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatragam achintyam cha कूटस्थम अचलम ध्रुवम सन्नियम येन्द्रियग्रामम सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव sarvabhutahite rataha. Krishna says that those who take great effort and a lot of trouble to worship the avyakta, anirdeshya, the unmanifest, the formless aspect of the Supreme, they finally come to me, they finally attain Krishna, but after a lot of effort and by an indirect method. In fact, in 12.5, Krishna gives the final conclusion by saying that kleshodhikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi ghatir dukkham dehavadbhir avapyate, that klesho adhikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam, the path of approaching even the path, the means of attaining the unmanifest, impersonal feature of the absolute truth is klesha adhika taraha, is very, very difficult and very, very troublesome. And avyakta hi ghatir, even the final end of a person who pursues the path of the supreme absolute truth to be formless and impersonal is also dukkham, is of great misery, because in spite of doing so much adhyatma sadhana, the impersonalist cannot achieve the highest perfection in spirituality. So, to put things in perspective, let us also understand some very important instructions with regard to this subject matter, which are explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam as well. That when Krishna says, when the Bhagavad Gita says that even the impersonalists, the Nirakaravadis, those who worship the formless, are not wrong. The devotees who proclaim the supreme absolute truth to be personal, and the impersonalists who say both are correct, but one is partially correct, or to be precise or specific, one is 33% correct and the other is 100% correct. So the impersonalists, the Nirakaravadis, the Avyaktavadis, the Brahmavadis, they are, according to the Srimad Bhagavatam and the conclusion of all the Vedic scriptures, they are partially correct, they are 33% correct. And whereas the Bhaktas who uh, maintain that the supreme absolute truth is Bhagavan, they are 100% correct. And the path of Avyaktavada or Brahmavada can never lead one to eternal emancipation or liberation, whereas the path of Bhakti leads one to eternal liberation, because the means and the ends are the same in Bhakti Yoga. Even after liberation, the Jivatma continues to render Shuddha Prema Bhakti to Bhagavan, to the Supreme Lord. So now in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in Canto 1, Chapter 2, text number 11, 1.2.11 of Srimad Bhagavatam gives the complete picture of the Parama Satya of the Supreme Absolute Truth. So it is stated there that Vadanti tat tattva vidaha tattvam yadjnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdyate, that the supreme absolute truth can be realized, is realized in three levels. The first level being Brahman, or the all-pervasive aspect. What is Brahman? It is the formless, it is the all-pervasive aspect of the supreme absolute truth. Just like the sunlight emanating from the sun. The second higher revelation of Paramasatya or absolute truth is called Paramatma, or the localized aspect of the supreme absolute truth, who is present in each and every atom and in each and every Jivatma as the reflection, the pratibimba of God. And the final ultimate word, the ultimate revelation of the supreme absolute truth is Bhagavan iti, the supreme personality of Godhead, who is the source of both Brahman and Paramatma. Brahman, the all-pervasive Brahma Jyoti, has been explained in the Bhagavad Gita 14.27 and in all the various Vedic scriptures as the Prabha, or the divine light that emanates from Bhagavan. So the Jyoti, that emanates from Bhagavan is called Brahman or Brahma Jyoti, and the reflection of God in every atom and in the hearts of all the living beings is Paramatma. But the original, ultimate revelation of the Supreme Absolute Truth is Bhagavan. And the only way to realize Bhagavan is by bhakti, by pure devotional service, not by any other means. This is maintained repeatedly in the Bhagavad Gita. In 18.55, also Krishna says, Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha, that only by bhakti, Ananya Bhakti, can one realize Bhagavan, Krishna, completely and in truth. That the goal or the ultimate perfection of the Brahmavadi, of the Avyaktavadi, is not permanent, is, although one may attain liberation by following the path of Brahmavada, but it is not permanent liberation, and one has to fall down even from the stage of mukti, is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2, text number 32 as येन्येरविन्दाक्ष विमुक्तमानिनः त्वय्यस्तभावाद् अविशुद्धबुद्धयः आरुह्य कृच्छ्रेण परं पदं ततः patantyadhonandritayushmadangrayah. That although a Brahmavadi may become vimukta, come to the stage of self-realization, Atma Sakshatkara and Brahma Sakshatkara, yet Aruhya, although raising himself to that level, that soul eventually will patanti adhaha, will fall down, because he has not realized the complete truth as Bhagavan, as Krishna. One who is fortunate, a fortunate Brahmavadi, may, after realizing Brahmavada, may still understand that this is the partial or incomplete realization of the Supreme Absolute Truth, and may pray like in Ishopanishad Mantra 15, wherein the Brahmavadi, after realizing Brahman, he says that Satyasya apihitam mukham, that this Brahma Jyoti is actually like the covering of the real face of the Satya, of the Supreme Absolute Truth. And therefore, Tattvam Pushan Apavrunu Satya Dharmaya Drishtaye, the Brahmavadi prays to that Supreme Lord who is still behind the curtain, behind the covering of Brahma Jyoti. He prays to remove that covering and reveal his true and complete feature. So now it is settled conclusively in the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita that the Supreme Absolute Truth is Bhagavan, is the personal, divine, spiritual, transcendental form of the Supreme Lord, and the supreme path to reach him is the process of Bhakti Yoga. Now, how does a Bhakta, a pure devotee, attain the supreme perfection? That is very beautifully described in the second section of the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, from text number 6 to 8 as ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त upasate. Krishna very beautifully describes how a pure devotee is engaged in bhakti yoga as Ye tu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya. The pure devotees give up the results of all their actions unto Mai, unto Krishna, and Matparaha, they completely are surrendered to the Supreme Lord Krishna, and in this way, Mai sanyasya matpara ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate, they worship the Supreme Lord and always meditate on him. And in this way, Krishna next he says that for such pure devotees, tesham aham samuddharta, I become their personal deliverer. Tesham aham samuddharta, from what? Mrityu samsara sagarat, from this horrible and terrible ocean of birth and death. The samsara here is compared to mrityu samsara sagarat. It is the ocean of repeated birth and death, wherein one is repeatedly drowning. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani chatare shayanam. And even the great Acharya Sripada Shankaracharya says that iha samsare pahi murare, kripaya pare pahi murare. That iha samsare bahudustare kripaya pare pahi murare. Murari Krishna is the only one who can deliver us from this ocean of birth and death. And Krishna gives the same assurance here in 12.7. He says that Tesham aham samuddhagta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat. I become the swift. I deliver my devotees very quickly, very fast from this ocean of birth and death. Bhavami nachirat pagtha maya veshita chetasam. For those devotees who are always fixed in my devotional service. And further, they are explained in 12.8 very beautifully as, therefore, Krishna says to Arjuna and to every living entity what should be the ultimate supreme path to be taken up by all of us. Krishna says in 12.8 as, this is the supreme advice given by Krishna to all of us. Mayeva mana adhatsva mayi buddhim niveshaya nivasishyasi mayeva ata urdhvam na samshayah. Krishna says, always fix your mind completely on me, engage your intelligence in me, and in this way, even in this material world, you will live with me. Nivasishyasi mayeva ata urdhvam na samshayah. Without a doubt, without Krishna assures that such a pure devotee with his mind and intelligence fixed and engaged with him, he will constantly live with the Supreme Lord. So, the supreme advice and instruction of the Supreme Lord in the Bhagavad Gita is that one should completely devote oneself to the path of devotional service to the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. Now, in the next part, in the third section of the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that if one is unable to completely devote himself to the path of devotional service to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, then what are the options available? What are the various stages at which one can catch up with the path of spiritual progress? So Krishna here in this section from text 9 to 12, from 9 to 11, he explains the first important, the direct method, the direct path of bhakti. So Krishna first says that athachittam samadhatum na shaknoshi mai sthiram abhyasayogena tato mamichhaptum dhananjaya. That if you are unable to fix your consciousness and mind completely and fully in me, then what should you do? Krishna says that then one should engage in abhyasa yoga. One should engage in bhakti according to regulative principles. One should engage in devotional service in practice, which is also known as sadhana bhakti. So if the first highest level is one should completely dedicate oneself to the Supreme Lord Krishna. If one is unable to do that, then one should engage in sadhana bhakti or devotional service in practice according to regulative principles. And if one is unable to do that, abhyasepya samarthosi matkarma paramo bhava madagtham api karmani kurvan siddhim avapsyasi. If one is unable to even take up the path of sadhana bhakti or devotional service in practice, then Krishna says one should work for me or dedicate the result of all one's actions to the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. But what if one is unable to do even this? In text 11, Krishna says, Athetadapya shaktosi kartum madyogamashritah sarva karma phalatyagam tatah kuru yatatmavan. Then one should at least start with the stage of sarva karma phalatyaga. One should give up the selfish motive of enjoying all the fruits of one's actions, and one should give up, one should renounce the fruits of one's actions by which one opens the door to spiritual progress. Now, in text number 12 of the Bhagavad Gita, 12th chapter, Krishna explains another method, the indirect method, to gradually raise oneself to the understanding of the Supreme Lord, to the path of bhakti. So Krishna says, Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasad jnanad dhyanam vishishyate dhyanad karma phalatyagaha tyagat shantiranantaram. That the indirect method is, the direct method is to work for Krishna and then gradually come to the higher stage of sadhana bhakti and then further advance to ananya bhakti or shuddha bhakti. And the indirect method begins from sarva karma phalatyagaha, from the stage of renouncing the fruits of one's action, which will lead to the stage of jnana, the stage of knowledge. And then higher than knowledge is dhyana or meditation. Meditation has already been explained in 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. To be the object of meditation is Paramatma, the super soul, the reflection of God in the heart. So meditation will lead one to the stage of understanding the super soul, and the final stage is by understanding or realizing the Paramatma, one can gradually come to the stage of realizing Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then engage again in Bhakti Yoga. So these are the two methods, either the direct method or the indirect method. Now moving to the fourth section of the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, from text number 13 to 20, is the wonderful description of the divine transcendental qualities of the bhaktas, of the devotees. So, beginning from text 13 up to 20, Krishna describes 35 very, very wonderful and beautiful qualities of devotees that endear such devotees to the Supreme Lord, that make the devotee dear to the Supreme Lord. In every verse at the end, in the last line, Krishna says that Same Bhaktaha Priya, such a devotee with these qualities becomes very dear to me. So now let us try to hear what are these wonderful qualities which make one dear to the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. So there are 35 qualities which have been mentioned. Beginning from text number 13, Krishna says, Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitraha karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukha sukhakshami. Krishna says that a devotee is Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam. He's not envious of any living being, but in fact he is Maitraha Karuna Evacha. He is the kind friend to all living beings. The next quality is Nirmamo Nirahankaraha Samadukha Sukhaha. He is nirmama, he never thinks himself to be the proprietor. He is nirahankaraha, he is free from all ahankara or false ego, and he is samadukha sukhaha. He is equipoised in happiness and in distress. He is kshami, he is very forgiving and tolerant, and santushtaha satatam, he is always satisfied. Santushtaha satatam yogi yatatma dridhanishchayaha mayyarpitamano buddhihi yo madbhaktaha same priyaha. The devotee is yogi, the perfect mystic. He is yatatma, his senses are completely controlled, and dridhanishchayaha, he is determined. In the next verse, Krishna says, and he is Mayyarpita Mano Buddhihi. His mind and intelligence are fixed on the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna. In text number 15, Krishna says, Yasmano dvijate loko, lokano dvijate chayaha, hagsha magsha bhayo dveger, muktoya sachame priyaha. Yasman na udvijate loko. Nobody, no living being is put into difficulty, anxiety, or any fear by a devotee. A devotee does not put anybody else into any kind of agitation. He does not agitate anybody else. And lokana udvijate chayaha. He is not disturbed by whatever actions others perform. So he is very tolerant and humble. He is harsha, amagsha, bhaya, udvegaihi, muktaha. He is equipoised in happiness and distress. He is free from fear and anxiety. Bhaya udvega vimuktaha. He is free from all fear, all anxiety. In the next verse, 12.16, Krishna continues to explain the wonderful qualities of his devotees as anapekshaha shuchir dakshaha udasino gatavyataha sarvarambha parityagi yo madbhakta same priyaha. That anapekshaha, a devotee is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities. He is anapekshaha, he is shuchihi, he is pure both internally and externally. He is dakshaha, he is very expert. Udasinaha, he is carefree about whatever environment he may be placed in. Gatavyataha, he is free from all material pains. And very important, sarva arambha parityagi. A devotee does not endeavor for getting some result. Whatever comes of its own accord, he happily accepts them and he is satisfied in his position. In 12.17, Krishna says, Yona hrishyati na dveshti, na shochati na kangshati, shubha shubha parityagi, bhaktiman sa Yasame priyaha. Yona hrishyati nadveshti. He neither rejoices nor does he grieve. Na shochati, na kangshati. He neither laments for any loss nor na kangshati, nor does he aspire to gain some material things. Shubha Shubha Parityagi, a very interesting thing that is the very important quality of devotee is that he is Shubha Ashubha Parityagi. He renounces the concept of both Shubha, auspicious, and inauspicious. The attitude of a devotee is very beautifully explained that the material world itself is the most Ashubha. Now, in this inauspicious material world, it is compared to the filth, like a drainage, like a dirty place. Now in that, if somebody says that in stool, if the wet stool is not so good, the dry stool is better than the wet stool, there is no meaning. It is a stool, it is something to be discarded. Likewise, this material atmosphere, this material world itself is uh, basically it is not a desirable place, and therefore there is no point in something good or bad or auspicious or inauspicious. Sometimes people are very worried, they always keep checking what is the time of Rahu Kala today, what may happen, what is lucky, what is unlucky, what is auspicious, what is inauspicious. But a devotee is Shubha Ashubha Parityagi. He gives up this concept of auspicious and inauspicious. He completely depends on the mercy of the Supreme Lord, and such a devotee, Krishna says, becomes very dear to me. Further, Krishna says, Samaha Shatrau cha mitre cha tatha manapamanayoho shitoshna sukha dukkheshu samaha sanga vivagjitaha tulya ninda stutir mauni santushto yena kenachit aniketah sthiramatihi bhaktiman me priyo naraha. Krishna explains that further the qualities that endear a devotee to the Supreme Lord are that he is Sangha Vivagjitaha. He is free from all bad contaminating association. He is equipoised, a devotee is equipoised in honor, dishonor, heat, cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, sama mana apamana yoho, shita ushna, sukha dukkheshu, tulya ninda stutihi. So this equanimity is again repeatedly stressed in the Bhagavad Gita, that in this material world, which always has got this dichotomy of duality, sometimes something is favorable, something is unfavorable, sometimes we are in a happy situation, sometimes in a unhappy situation, sometimes there is heat, sometimes there is cold. So the best proposition is to become to be equipoised samaha in all these circumstances by raising our consciousness to a higher level of spirituality. And in this way, one can very easily tolerate all these dualities of life without any agitation, without any disturbance. The devotee is also mauni, silent, because he does not utter any material, uh, he is not interested in mundane material discussions. Santushto yena kenachit, he is satisfied always. Santushtaha aniketaha, he doesn't care even for any residence. We have the best example of the great sage Narada, who always wanders all over the universe, never cares to stay in one place, in one home or residence, and just keeps traveling and distributing the nectar of bhakti to all the living entities in this world. The devotee is Thiramatihi, fixed in knowledge, Samaha Shatraucha Mitrecha, equal to friends and so called enemies. And he is Bhaktiman, always engaged in devotional service. Krishna finally concludes the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita in 12.20. He says, Yetu dharmamritam idam yathoktam paryupasate shraddhadhana matparama bhaktaha te ativa me priyaha. That one who follows these instructions as given in the Bhagavad Gita and cultivates and develops these divine transcendental qualities, such a devotee becomes not just dear. Krishna says ativa me priyaha, becomes very, very, very dear to the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. So this is the wonderful description of the supreme absolute truth and the supreme path of bhakti as described in the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. The supreme absolute truth of Bhagavan surpasses the impersonal feature of Brahman and the localized feature of Paramatma. The path of bhakti surpasses all other paths of spirituality. It continues even after liberation or moksha in the spiritual realm, and this is the supreme revelation of the supreme absolute truth as Bhagavan and the supreme path of Bhakti Yoga. If you have any questions about today's subject matter, you're welcome to post your questions on the WhatsApp group or in the comment section. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please do join us tomorrow for the summary study of the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.